Okay, you're on the air.
Okay, sounds good. I didn't see the game yet.
Oh, really? You might need to reload the window or something because it looks like it just started.
Yes, I just see it now. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the last game of round 3 for the 2010 World Championship. Taking a quick look at the opening setup here. Both players started with centralized elephants and camels, and horses on the B and G files, and we'll go from there. So far, fairly typical openings on both sides. We have 3 of the 4 horses taking up position next to their home traps. The gold elephant has advanced much further in and is, pulled out the silver camel 1 square. That's easily put back, but it does require silver to take some time to do that. So move starting after 3 moves. The gold elephant is on the silver side of the board, trying to take an aggressive stance with the elephant, but doesn't have any support from any other pieces yet. Silver has built the flanks behind the gold elephant. The gold elephant doesn't have any opportunity to go immediately behind the trap there. And with the silver elephant sitting right next to it, can't get very far. So for 4G, the gold elephant has decided to leave the middle of the silver territory there and is again harassing the silver camel. We'll see if silver continues to just watch out for any kind of flips here, or if silver's going to take any initiative on the other side of the board. The tournament has been dominated by a lot of people doing off-balance setups, so this should be, it promises to be a little more traditional of the game, with both players having the balanced camels still at the center of the board. So it looks like 99 of 9 there for the silver move is looking to start an elephant horse attack. At the C3 trap is advance the horse slightly. And we'll see if gold does anything to prevent that or continues to harass the camel.
Hello, Eric. And hi all.
Good afternoon, John. I'm glad you could join us.
Yeah, just finished dinner, almost in time. And yeah, it looks like Silver has a small advantage now. I think that gold lost some time by moving his elephant around, and now Silver has the opportunity to attack with a horse along the A file.
Yes, that is definitely the disadvantage of trying to hunt down a camel or other large beast at the beginning of the game. Your elephant can do a lot of stepping around, and at the end of it, potentially has nothing to show for it.
Yes, indeed. In the opening, it's almost impossible to pull a centralized camel when the enemy elephant is centralized as well. So I don't think Gold is aiming for anything right now. This second horse pull does not look very threatening either. So I think Silver has a very small advantage now.
So it looks like Silver's going to position the horse for the elephant horse attack, and then the elephant is going back to free up that horse that was pulled on the other side.
Yeah, maybe 99 of 9 is actually aiming just at pulling the rabbits along the A file. I think he's a rabbit pulling player, more than most players maybe. I think he would be really happy to just pull a rabbit with his horse.
Yep, that would certainly be pretty straightforward. It doesn't look like Gold can make progress with any other options right now, and if it turns into a rabbit pulling race, Silver definitely has a big head start.
Yeah, now I guess Gold's camel wants some play against either one of Silver's horses. Gold's camel needs five steps right now on 6G to reach B3, so he cannot hostage Silver's A3 horse. Maybe he can move his own horse on A4 and his camel on D3, but that doesn't seem to work either. So maybe he can just push the G5 horse to G4 and try to hostage it with the camel next, but usually this does not work. It's too long a maneuver to perform.
So for 6G, it looks like Gold is trying to convince Silver to leave the elephants over around the F3 trap to protect that horse, and taking a step towards that A3 horse with the camel. So it looks like Silver won't have time yet to pull that rabbit.
Yes, indeed. Now Gold threatens to move his camel to B3 in just 4 steps, but maybe Silver can just withdraw his A3 horse with 2 steps to A5 and then move his horse to H4 with the help of his elephants, and rather attack with a horse on the east. Just like that, rather than attacking on the west where the camel is more threatening. So actually this opening looks is very, very similar to my opening against the J in the first round of the finals. I had my 2 horses on the flanks trying to do something, but he managed to prevent me from doing anything for very, very long.
It would seem that 99 of 9 can take turns trying to grab a rabbit. I suppose on this turn he could do, it's Gold's turn, so Gold is, I'm trying to decide if the judge has a plan for attack somewhere, if he'll take that horse hostage, or if he'll use his elephant to do a rabbit pull of his own.
I think the judge's concern is rather to try to prevent a horse attack on either side right now. I don't think he's planning to attack himself. I think he's just trying to repel Silver's horses right now.
And for 7G, the judge goes back to harassing the silver camel. my first instinct is that that's more steps that could be fruitless, but on the other hand, he does force Silver to step the camel back, while still he's now within range of his elephant of that A5 horse. But it looks like Silver, if they want to, can just retreat everything. Probably not retreat everything, but can retreat the camel and still advance either of the horses if they want to go after a rabbit.
Well, Gold threatens to get an EH attack around C6 right now by moving the elephant to D6 and the horse to B6. So probably Silver needs to move his A5 horse to B6 to prevent that. And probably with the other two steps, well, I would rather have unfrozen the camel with the E7 cat and move the camel to F5. I think the camel would be pretty happy on F5. It would be quite useful for the eastern attack. Now maybe the J can just move his camel to F3. There will be no longer any horse attack on the east due to Gold's camel being there. So maybe the J has managed to repair both horses and to prevent any horse attack from Silver right now.
Is there any concern that, I guess Gold can't even scoop out the camel since the elephant's sitting there still, so just trying to look to see. It's definitely a very cautious opening by both players. So for HE, Gold steps over to hold forward on a horse, attacking a horse on the same lane that their camel is. There's some potential to hand it off there. Don't know if they're going to try to drag that back or if they're just forcing Silver Elephant to come all the way over to free it. I wouldn't imagine that 99 at 9 would advance a rabbit so they would free up the horse at this point in the game.
Yeah, now Gold threatens to push the horse to B4 and move his own elephant to C4, and that would force a horse frame on, well, that would threaten a horse frame on next move, and Silver would have to advance a rabbit to unfreeze the horse. So I think Silver needs to answer that move. He cannot put a rabbit on H2, for instance, and so probably Silver needs his elephant stepping closer, maybe to C4, and maybe moving the camel towards the G5 to attack the G3 horse, maybe.
Should Silver make any consideration of scooping out the Gold camel?
What do you mean, scooping up the camel?
Could have advanced 2 steps south and then pushed the elephant, gotten behind, pushed the camel north and been behind the camel. But that would have still been a long way from any sort of capture. So for ADAS, Silver moved the elephant all the way over so that to free up the horse. Took all 4 steps to be able to retreat the horse 1 step.
Yeah, actually in the opening to flip, I think you suggested to flip Gold's camel from D3 to D4, but usually it doesn't work if Gold's elephant is around and can just unfreeze the camel and cap Silver's elephant by moving the camel to C4 with the elephant on D4, for instance. It protects everything and kind of restricts Silver's elephant from reaching the center. So usually it does not work to do things like that, unless Gold's elephant is far away from the center.
That makes sense. The judge went after the silver camel again, and Gold Gold took their 9G step to get behind the silver camel, and Silver used 99 used all of their moves to bring the elephant over to the same side again. So definitely some dancing back and forth here with both elephants trying to push some larger pieces out, but not much success here.
Actually, on 9G, I think Gold maybe should have pushed Silver's camel to D6 to threaten to get an elephant horse attack around F6. I think you want to push the camel away from the wing where there is a horse attack, so Gold should probably have pushed the camel away from G6, which is unoccupied. Silver's camel is pretty happy to be on F5 or on F4 because it's attacking G3, and that's what it wants to do, in my opinion.
So Gold definitely seems to be still intent on pulling pieces down. This time 99 is 9. Does voluntarily advance a rabbit and has left his camel on Gold's side of the board. At this point, there's enough other pieces there. It would be, I think, a little bit difficult to take a good hostage of the silver camel. So it'll be interesting to see now that Gold pulled that camel onto their side of the board. I'm wondering if it's going to cause problems to have the camel and the horse both operating there around F6. That's around F3.
Yeah, as long as there is an advanced horse on this wing, the camel cannot be hostage. So I think the camel is already safe right now. Gold. Well, the only thing that Gold can do is try to hostage the camel on G3, on G2, since H3 is already occupied by a silver piece, but it's pretty undoable. So I think the horse just makes the camel safe.
Nine also took one step to advance a rabbit on that wing as well, so that to me says he's pretty committed to staying advanced around the F3 trap.
Yes, indeed, he's probably going to attack all out around G3. He could have played a cat step instead of a rabbit step to keep both options of a rabbit pulling game or an attacking game, but he's decided to attack, and well, that's interesting. Now maybe he threatens to push into G3, moving his horse into H2 and get some kind of space advantage on the east, some kind of grip over F3, preventing those pieces from reaching the eastern wing. So as goal, I would be somehow worried here. Maybe moving the camel to F3 to prevent Silver's camel from advancing would be one option. I don't know. In any case, I think he wants to move the camel closer to Silver's horse if possible as Gold, but I'm not sure if it's possible.
Yeah, if the Gold camel moves onto the F3 trap, it's certainly safe for being flipped. Okay, so Gold took their 11G move and pinned the silver camel to the side of the board. I'll say pinned because with the horse there, it certainly is free to leave. And there's the two horses facing off on G3 and H3, which I think does actually look like a fairly stable position for now, though I guess Silver could advance their horse down to H2 and if Silver wants to keep pushing forward, can use the rabbit to move all the pieces further down.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't think I have ever seen such a maneuver down the H file, but I think that would be an interesting plan for Silver. Yeah, I think that's definitely an option. Well, the other option was to pull the rabbit, and I think there was a third option, just trying to create a blockade on G5 to blockade Gold's elephant. If Gold's elephant stays on G4, well, Silver cannot do anything, but the thing that Silver can do is to blockade the elephants by creating a wall on G5 with pieces on F5, G6, and H5.
So with the rabbit pull, it looks like I was wrong about 99 being committed to staying there. It looks like now I might just try to back up with all those pieces and bring the rabbit there. For the 12G, Gold rotated the camel and dog to get the camel one step further to the silver horse. That had been one of the options you've been mentioning earlier, Jean. Now, on the next turn, if Silver didn't move anything away, the horse could step out of the way and the camel could step in to take that horse hostage. I think my impression is that since that camel is close enough to grab that silver horse next time, that Silver will go ahead and just continue to back up and pull that rabbit out one more step.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the only move probably for Silver. Gold could continue to move his camel closer to H4 to try to get a horse on stage, but I think that would be very long, and usually Silver has time to blockade G5 to prevent Gold from getting a good horse on stage, and also to move the camel towards B3 to attack on the west, while Gold is committed to do a very, very long maneuver on the east, but probably the J is going to try it anyway.
With that one extra horse step, cat step there, I think 9909 does have the option now of blockading that elephant in next time if the elephant doesn't watch out, the gold elephant.
Yeah, I think Silver actually wants to get his camel out of the blockade before blockading G5. It would be somehow not very pleasant to blockade G5 with the camel sitting on H5 because the camel would be buried. So I think Silver is aiming for a position where his camel moves to F5 and the G6, G5 and H5 squares are occupied by rabbits and a cat possibly, or a rabbit, a cat and a dog.
I don't think I saw that one coming. That was a quick turnaround there, pulled the horse out and pushed the camel back. There's not enough room to immediately take that camel hostage, but definitely will slow things down a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it works. I mean, Silver can just threaten to blockade G5. Gold will not get a good hostage either way because he wouldn't have any space. There is a space advantage for Silver, and that's hard to to take a good hostage if you don't have if the opponent has a space advantage. Maybe Silver could have moved his camel to g3, but he tries to pull the horse to g4. So I guess the threat is to flip the horse onto f5.
Both players moving pretty quickly here in the last couple of moves. Gold decides to free his own horse and still maintain the camel hostage against the wall. It's fairly similar to the position we were in maybe 3 or 4 turns ago, but very different in that silver horse is now back out of the way. So that silver camel is now a lot more danger of being taken hostage.
Yes, that's a big difference indeed. Well, I don't think gold can take a good hostage, but this is definitely some kind of hostage where the camel will not be directly threatened on h4, but it's probably interesting for gold. I don't like silver's 13s move. I don't think that was a good move, and probably gold is kind of happy to get this kind of hostage on h4.
Yeah, certainly when Silver had both the horse and the camel, Silver seemed to be in a strong attacking position, and now that the horse has been pushed back to its own side of the board, definitely seems to be a lot more even for position here. For 14s, Silver is moving the elephant over, so I think that gives up any hopes of blockading the gold elephant. But I think the gold elephant was happy being the one that had the camel trapped against the wall. It looks like Silver is now going to try to... I was protecting the trap. I wonder if Silver will go ahead and bring more pieces down over the trap and try to keep the camel buried underneath there.
Yes, most definitely. I think Silver would need to move his whole arm forward on this wing. For the moment, it's not possible to occupy f4. Well, it might be dangerous to occupy f4 with a piece, since it could be framed on f3, but that would mean releasing the camel hostage, and the camel could try to break the frame. So I think Silver just wants to move a piece on f3, one on f4, e4, f5, and get a huge wall and a huge blockade to blockade the whole side.
I think the Jah immediately recognized that threat and has started to move. He initially moves the camel backwards, but looks like should be able to move the camel out to the left side to protect against, at least have a free piece there that's stronger. What's the phrase? The deputy. Crystal amongst these. A long way from being able to do that, but definitely I would bet that's on his mind.
Yeah, so I think he did not want to get a piece flipped on e4, so he had to freeze the e2 square, but I don't like this camel on f1. I'm not sure what's the idea here, but Silver, I think, just moves the horse to f5 and advance pieces on h5, g5, f6, etc. It will be very long for Gold's camel to reach the western side, and Silver will have plenty of time to threaten either to push the horse into f2 when Gold's camel is gone, either just to blockade with all his army swarming forward.
the silver camel's not really in a traditional hostage position, isn't close enough to be threatened with immediate capture. That definitely gives silver some freedom to step away with their elephant. They're stationed next to the F3 trap, even though there isn't anything in immediate danger of being captured. But they certainly could take off without too much of a ramification.
Yes, indeed. That would be significant if there was a huge fight on the west, so silver might be able to, well, steal another move that I just don't understand. Well, okay, so nothing's going on the west, so I did not think it was too important that Silver's elephant could move away, but still he does move away. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here.
Yeah, we've been thinking that Silver would swarm on the east side to pin in the elephant, but instead spent 3 of the moves on the west side. It looks like maybe the Silver could push that dog out and has the elephant there to drag it back, or he's considering to attack on the F3 side. I can't believe that attacking on the C3 side. I can't imagine that attacking the C3 for Silver would be helpful with the camel hostage.
So it's true that gold cannot get an easy capture on F3, even if Silver's elephant moves to D3, for instance. Maybe the first move would be to pull Silver's camel to F4, then Silver could just unfreeze the camel with his horse, but I think gold could try to threaten 2 pieces, either the horse or the camel, into F3, and I don't think Silver can hold in the long run. Whoa.
There's a comment in the chat room about 99 of 9 potentially not being aware of the role the Swans have been playing in the tournament, and that might be why he wasn't following our immediate thoughts of swarming the F3 trap. And then now 19G, a little bit of a surprise again that I guess maybe the dog step back was an answer to the concern I had that dog could be scooped up, but Gold didn't move any closer to threatening any pieces.
I guess that maybe, I don't know, but maybe the judge thought that his camel hostage was actually bad, so he's just trying to move his camel to G3 maybe, just release the hostage, just take away with the elephants. So maybe he's just abandoning any hostage attempts.
The center of the board is certainly cleared out with both elephants, neither elephant being next to the trap, and both camels being down in that corner. There's a lot of pieces down there without, but with nothing really being threatened with capture. So 9-9 for 16S has pulled a dog to the opposite side of the elephant. I wonder if there's any opportunity here for the silver elephant to get caught back there. The there's so much space in the lower board, it looks like there wouldn't be quite enough room to bring the elephant.
So maybe Gold has the opportunity now to just pull Silver's camel to F4 on threaten capture and try to get something going. Silver's camel could probably just walk away, but maybe Gold might threaten either to push Silver's camel towards the west or to hostage the G5 horse with his camel, now that his camel might reach G3. Well, and the other way would be to move the dog to D3 and freeing the E3 horse to step east and end up with the two dogs on the traps to prevent any dog from being pushed toward F6.
We started out thinking that 999 was going to be happy with rattle pulls, but definitely abandoned that plan at this point.
Yeah, now the position calls for advancing on both sides actually. It was pretty strange, I think, for Silver to advance the horse to B4 right now, before even advancing on the eastern wing. But actually, with both camels on the east, there is some kind of horse versus horse deadlock on the west, and Silver gets a space advantage on the west, so he definitely wants to advance, say, rabbits on A5 or B5 behind his horse, and he's got some space advantage on both wings. So probably advancing on both wings is a good idea for Silver now. So I wonder whether on 17S Silver can push this dog to D4 and try to pass the dog to the B5 horse to try to capture it either on C6 or on F6. Gold does not seem to have any material threat around F3, so probably just pushing the dog up and trying to capture it looks like a good idea for Silver.
Yeah, it looks like Silver still is not being threatened with any pieces being captured at F3. So certainly it would make sense to go after that dog while it was hanging out there. Trying to figure out what Gold's purpose was in advancing a camel onto the F3 trap. If it's just a defensive position to hold, or if there's some consideration that he might go on the attack with it.
Yeah, on 17G, I think really moving both dogs on the two traps was probably the safest move for Gold. Whoa.
So instead of pushing the dog out as we thought could be done, Silver decided just to bring the horse over next to it and starting to flip it on the next turn. But that should be pretty straightforward to step out of.
Yeah, so Silver is well, letting Gold's horse reach B6 if Gold wants to do that. That's somewhat strange. I'm not sure that Gold can do that right now, because maybe Silver would just flip the dog to d5 and try to capture it on f6. He could not capture it on c6, but maybe on f6. And the thing is that if gold moves his dog away to c3, then silver threatens to flip either the camel or the cat to e4 on next move, and so maybe gold would have to withdraw both his camel and cat with the two remaining steps.
Yeah, gold definitely all on defense here. Don't know if they'll try to look for a way to attack on the silver side, or if they're planning on a home game all the way and just looking for an opportunity to take advantage of any silver mistakes to capture pieces on the other side of the board. Silver elephant has two pieces frozen next to it. Definitely limits the gold's options for what they can move without having to devote a lot of steps to unfreezing pieces.
Well, maybe gold is... Oh, okay. I was going to say that maybe gold was trying to move his camel to g4 to free his elephants, but he just moves it to g3 and just releasing the camel hostage. I think that's somehow a good idea. The camel hostage was probably not worth much here. And the bad news for silver is that gold can move his horse to b6 on next move. So maybe silver's horse moving to d4 to... Oh, wait. Okay, so maybe silver can just flip the dog to either e4 on d or d5, and I'm not sure whether... yeah, actually, I don't know. Maybe silver has something going against his dog by just flipping it to d5.
I wonder if e5 is a good spot, or if e4 would be better, if that would get in the way of the gold elephant from coming after the silver horse there. They can't really run away anywhere.
Well, gold elephant would move to e5, I think, and just retreat the dog to f3. But maybe actually gold would just push the horse down to d3 with his elephant, and maybe try to endanger this horse. And maybe gold's dog would try to reach b6 next to get an attack going around c6. I think that would be pretty sharp. So I'm not sure moving the horse to d5 was a good idea. I think sitting along the b file was very important to prevent gold's pieces from reaching b6. Oh, in the chat room, Fritzline had a better 18 Gs than what I was trying to say. Gold could have moved his camel to g4 and his elephants to e4. I was thinking elephants to f5, but elephant to e4 was better because it would have just frozen the horse. I think that would have been a good 18 G.
So for 19G, the silver elephant steps out one square to hem in the gold elephant a little bit and pulls the dog up one step, so backing up with the horse that had been in a little bit of danger now that it came to the center of the board rather than staying over on the B file.
I guess gold has the option to move his horse to b6 right now. Well, and the other possibility is to just unfreeze the dog and retreat it to c3. That would be a more peaceful move. Maybe just moving the horse to b6 is possible right now.
the play that we've seen so far, my expectation is that Gold will just do the retreat.
Yes, the GL has been very careful and very conservative in this tournament. So maybe indeed he's going to go for the conservative move, but I don't know. Maybe horse to b6 is okay. I'm not sure about that.
After starting with centralized camels, both players have one voluntarily and the other one pushed, but both camels are now on one side of the board. I wonder if either player is going to consider trying to get their camels back to the center, or if they're happy having them stand off now on the same side.
Yeah, I guess Gold cannot move his camel away. He did some very painful moves to get his camel to g3. If his camel moves away, well, Silver will have a good attack around f3. But maybe Silver can move his camel away. Okay, so Gold retreats the dog.
Looking at it right now, I would guess that Silver's going to go back to rabbit pulling.
Yeah, he might very well flip a rabbit to g4, sorry, and use his space advantage to try to capture a rabbit on f6. That would be an idea.
A very quick move though. Instead of pulling the rabbit down some more, 999 pulled the dog out again. This actually does look pretty good. It doesn't seem like there's an easy way to retreat that dog with the elephant on e4 and the horseback on d4. One piece or the other is going to have to stay frozen on the fourth row.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, interesting move. I guess now Gold has to move his elephants to c5. And I'm not sure whether Silver can flip Gold's dog on next move to b5. Probably not. Probably not, I guess. So yeah, maybe just moving the elephant to c5 cancels all threats.
Well, not all that. It does protect the dog, but by pulling the elephant all the way over, that certainly makes it a lot easier to pull the rabbits or to try to do something on the f3 trap.
Yes, indeed. Then flipping the rabbits to g4 or maybe to h5 would be a good follow-up, I guess.
For 20G, just moves to d5. On the surface of it, the Gold dog could be captured this turn, but Gold would be able to just take the Silver horse in response. But I think that by not occupying c5 square, Silver can use the elephant to push the dog up one square, and he's going to be stuck babysitting the c6 trap with the dog up there. His elephant's going to be stuck up by c6 now.
Yes, indeed, that's probably a mistake. This move to any g. Now just, as you say, just pushing the dog to c5 with the horse on b5 gets a good dog frame, I think, on c6. And that's pretty good. I think a dog frame or even a dog hostage is very, very strong in the opening. And yeah, Gold is certainly in trouble now.
Apparently, 999 doesn't think that's an obvious play to take. They've used their entire lot of time and they're going into reserve for it. So this must be something else that they're considering here.
Yeah, so that would not be an immediate dog frame on C6 because Gold's elephant could just push the cats onto C6 to delay the frame, but I think the frame would be established within 2 moves. Silver decides to go after Gold's camel.
I had been wondering about that with the silver camel being there to make it impossible for any of the smaller gold pieces from coming up to free up the gold camel. So, what this move does on 20S is it's going to force unless Gold's willing to give up the camel to a hostage, Gold will need to use the horse to free up the camel, which will allow Silver to take that dog without any ramifications.
So Silver is going to get probably a camel hostage, but I'm not sure that's worth a dog frame or a dog hostage anyway. I really think it was better to go after the dog. Here still Gold can Gold can even try to move his elephant to F5 and move the dog to D4, but I'm not sure if it works. But anyway, even allowing Silver to flip the camel to F5 does not seem so bad, not as bad as a dog frame anyway for Gold.
So Gold does go ahead and back the dog up and brings the elephant back over towards F6, expecting Silver to continue on with working to hostage that camel. Now will Silver go ahead and work more towards that hostaging the gold camel, or will they consider just pulling the dog out again?
I think that either way the dog is out of trouble now because Gold can just unfreeze it on next move and retreat it. So I don't think there is anything to do than try to go after the camel hostage. But it will be hard to hostage a camel. I mean, even a good camel hostage would not be worth a good dog hostage in my opinion. But also it will be very hard to get a good camel hostage here because Silver's pieces are in the way.
So instead of trying for the hostage or pulling the dog, does Silver have some other options? Can they attack with the silver camel at F3?
Yes, it's been proposed in the chat room as well. Yes, that's an option. I'm not sure how it works out. Gold can just defend on F2 and E3 with 2 pieces, and I'm not sure what Silver can do next.
So Silver does decide to go on the offensive with the camel. I guess if the gold elephant comes back to defend, the gold camel can be flipped back out. So Gold will need to flip to defend using just the small pieces, I would think.
Yeah, definitely so. So maybe Silver is just going to try to get is on the east and try to get a space advantage on this wing. Maybe that would prevent Gold's camel from doing anything, and maybe Gold would be in trouble. So maybe advance a rabbit to H4 right now and back it up with something on H5. Or even advancing the rabbit all the way to H3 as Fritzlines proposes in the chat room.
And definitely when things are in tight quarters back there, getting your own rabbit further advanced is usually a good idea. It's tough to wiggle things down there that quickly if once the opponent has stepped forward as well.
Yes, the advanced rabbit helps a lot. It gives a space advantage and it helps the pieces by unfreezing them and provides growth rights for the future, so that's really good. So yeah, I guess advancing the rabbit to h3 does look good. It's true that Gold's camel is, well, we won't be able to retreat even with the help of Gold's elephants. So yeah, I'm not sure how things would turn out. So Silver definitely has some advantage, probably a small advantage here, but I think just framing Gold's dog on c6 was a much bigger advantage.
So for 22S, it looks like 999 decided to go back towards taking that gold camel hostage.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to hostage this camel with Silver's camel sitting on g3, and Gold could threaten to trade camels pretty easily. So, well, Silver probably needs to advance pieces further, say maybe try to advance the horse to g3 and the camel to f2 before being able to get any kind of camel hostage. I think Gold needs to get some space on this wing. Gold should not let Silver advance all the way to h3. So maybe advance rabbits on down the h5 would be a good idea.
So for 23G, the judge pushes the silver horse down. So now the silver has an elephant, horse, and camel again advanced around the f3 trap, which is, I believe, a pattern we alternating between. First, silver had all three pieces there, and then Gold flipped out a horse, and now we're back to having the three strong silver pieces there. The important difference this time around is that Gold's camel is in play near the silver horse, leaving things to be a bit more threatening. Silver for 23S moves their camel behind the trap to f2. Definitely there's a huge hole now on that corner that all of the gold pieces are fenced out except for the camel. And if the camel would try to get in there, it's pinned by the elephant. I think there hadn't been time for it, but if Silver would have had a rabbit down there, as we've been talking about, be a huge threat right now.
I guess Silver wants his horse on g3 on next move, and so maybe blockading the path to prevent Silver's horse from attacking around f3 would be a good idea. Flashline thinks so, apparently, in the chat room. And yeah, as long as Silver's elephant stays on g4, Gold's camel cannot retreat to mess with Silver's horse. So yeah, probably blocking the path of Silver's horse is mandatory right now.
Does Gold have any consideration to try to pull that horse back to its side of the board if it moved the rabbit and the cat out of the way, and then pull, back up one step with the camel and the horse?
I didn't get it.
Oh, sorry, it's Gold's movie anyway. Yeah, so I was looking at the board from Silver's point of view. That if Gold has the opportunity on 4 moves, could have moved the G6 and H6 pieces out of the way and pull the silver horse out, but I was watching the wrong clock move. It said Gold's turn. Oh, I'm looking at this totally from I'm sorry, I was very confused on that. You can ignore that.
Okay, so Silver goes for camel hostage. I'm sure it does work. I don't think it works. I think now Silver can just move his horse to G3, then move a dog to F4 to protect F3, and try to capture Gold's camel on F6 with his elephant. I'm not sure whether that does work tactically or not, but I think there is a good chance that Silver can hold to F3 without his elephants, which would allow him to just capture a camel in 2 moves around F6.
I was looking at that if Silver has enough time to bring enough pieces in. Yeah, the dog comes down this time and the elephant steps back to the Gold camel. Gold on the next turn would be able to push the camel out. And then you're saying the horse would step next to the F3 trap as well to join the dog, but then couldn't Gold. Well, I guess the rabbit would be pushed into the way, so I was wondering if there's going to be a possibility that Gold can take that horse hostage.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's the main, one of the main questions. So Gold is going to hostage the camel on F1, and Silver is going to move his horse to G3. And I guess next, Gold might try to move his rabbits out of the way to hostage Silver's camel on G2 next move. And I don't know, Silver could probably replace even his hostage camel by another piece on G3, but maybe then Gold would be able to fight with dog and horse against the F4 and G3 pieces, so probably Silver is trying to get oh, but wait, oh no, okay, I missed something. So now on next move, Silver can just move his elephants to F4, dragging the camel to F5, and that would be crushing.
So you're saying give up on capturing the silver camel and instead force to capture the silver horse?
I think either way, Silver can move his elephant to F4 on next move with Gold's camel pulls to F5, and that looks really, really bad for Gold. So maybe Gold has to move his dog to F4 on next move to prevent that from happening, but it does look very dangerous. Well, I really think Gold needs to do that. Push hostage one of the two pieces and move his dog to f4. I don't see any other way to proceed with the fight.
Yeah, the silver horse would be able to come over to e3. Still keeping the trap safe.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and then Silver would probably try to capture Gold's f4 dog by pulling it into f5 with the elephant and capturing it to f6 next. That's very tense because Gold could try to hostage both horses on g2 and e2, but the fight looks good for Silver right now.
Is there any way for Gold to even abandon the S3 trap and to go protect his camel?
Well, possibly not abandon the trap, maybe just move the elephants to f4, the dog onto f3 and the horse to e3, and then plan to move the elephants to f5 with two pieces protecting f3 from f4 and e3, and that looks possible. So maybe Gold should just stop trying to get a hostage and rather advance his own pieces to prepare defending f3 without the elephant. That's a possibility. And
the judge didn't do any of those things.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this move. I think Silver can just move his camel to f2 again and threaten Gold's camel. And Gold would end up defending f3 with two dogs instead of with a dog and a horse. I think getting this horse pushed to f1 is much worse than having the horse on e3. It would be much better to fight with a horse than with a dog. I guess, so the move I'm looking at right now is pushing the horse onto f1 and pulling the camel to g5 with the elephant to g4. And I guess Gold would have to move his elephants to f5 next with his two dogs on f4 and e3 to protect the f3 trap. Maybe next Silver could move his horse to attack the two dogs and try to get a capture, try to get to hold the f3 trap with two horses and a camel. I'm not sure how things would turn out. I guess Gold still can fight back, but it's tough.
Yeah, the analysis that people are talking about in the chat room is that the two camels were both being threatened by the elephants, and the major difference in positions now is that Silver was able to keep a piece advanced to help protect the camel, whereas Gold wasn't. And that's making, just that one piece is making a huge difference between who's winning this positional battle.
Yes, it does indeed, but I think it was to be foreseen as Silver had the space advantage on the east all along. I mean, since the very opening, Silver had pieces on the east, and and Silver had his camel on h4, so Gold could not have advanced any piece. Silver had just the space advantage, and that's a very interesting thing about space advantage, is that once you manage to pull one enemy piece, then no other piece can come to support. So Gold's fight on the east was pretty bad from the beginning, and I don't think he could do anything about that.
So we're using a lot of time out of the reserve on this move, trying to figure out what to go with. It seems to me that 2 steps are almost mandatory for that camel to step back to F2. But I guess there must be some other options for what to do with those other 2 steps.
Yeah, I really don't see any other move than, I was going to say, than pulling the camel to g5 with 2 spared steps. To answer Ron Weasley's question from the chat room, I don't think Gold could have unfrozen his camel, and so he could have unfrozen his camel and retreated it to h4 maybe. So I don't think he could have retreated it to h5, since Silver would have been pulling this camel to g5 again with a rabbit on h5. Then I think the repeat rule favored Silver, so Gold could not just repeatedly unfreeze his camel and move it to h5, but probably he could have moved it to retreated the camel to h4. So maybe that's why 99 of 9 did not move his elephant right now. I guess Gold has to hostage a piece right now. Oh no, sorry, it doesn't work yet. Yeah, so actually that's yeah, I think 99 of 9 was right here to not to pull Gold's camel with his last 2 steps. He doesn't need to. I don't think Gold can threaten something now. Gold certainly cannot hostage a piece, since Silver would just pull the camel to f5 with his elephant to f4. So I think Gold has to create a way to defend f3 without his elephants by advancing pieces. So probably a dog, either 2 dogs on f4 and e3, or maybe using a horse, I don't know.
It seems that Silver's going to be able to bring both horses and the camel to attack f3 as soon as the gold elephant is tied up at f6. So I'm having a hard time seeing a way for Gold to get out of this mess without doing something drastic.
Yeah, Gold's hope is that his elephant is not completely tied to f6. I think he will probably have be able to spare a move and move his elephant a bit, so that could help with the fight. For instance, if Gold moves 1 horse to e3 and 1 dog to f4, it would be very hard to get this f4 square, because Gold's elephant could help fighting for this square. I think Gold really misses his f1 horse. It was pretty bad to let the horse being pushed to f1. The horse on e3 would have been much better. Yeah.
So in 6G, Gold had pulled a horse away from the trap, but it was immediately adjacent to the silver elephant. So that was 3 moves that could be undone in 1. So I don't think that was the way to go. He did not think very long on that one. Pulled the camel around to be threatening it, and brought the horse right back to the F3 trap.
Yes, indeed, losing 2 steps when you are already fighting a very hard battle is not a good idea. The good thing for gold is that just pushing the camel to h5 and moving the elephants back to f4 works because, well, pushing the h5 rabbit back to h6. So it does work for gold since the repeat rule favors gold. Silver could not repull the camel to g5 again and repeat the position. So yeah, that move works for gold for the moment.
So on the last move, gold took a few steps that could be undone quickly, but this time around, was able to buy some time since silver had pulled the camel to a place where it was easy to unfreeze.
Yeah, actually it does cost exactly the same number of steps to unfreeze the camel or to pull the camel back, but the repeat rule favors gold, so silver has to find another way here. So I'm not sure about. Okay, so this does look good. Moving the dog to f5, foreseeing that fighting for the f4 square will be a major fight here. So I don't think a piece to fight for f4 is really a good idea. Now silver threatens to flip the camel to g6 on next move.
A couple turns ago, gold had advanced one rabbit up to h3, so can't just push that horse aside. Don't know if they're looking to be able to get some help to their camel there to continue advancing some rabbits up the h file.
Okay, so what gold would like to do is to hostage the horse on h3, but he cannot do so. Oh, that's another interesting move. So yeah, now gold threatens to hostage silver's camel on g2 and get back control over f3, but probably silver can just capture the f4 square and the e3 square with the horse and the dog, for instance, and keep shared control over f3 while capturing the camel on f6. So moving the horse to e3, pushing the dog west to d3, looks logical here for silver on 28s.
Yeah, it looked like they could have 2 camel hostages here, but the silver camel still has a lot more support that the elephant won't be able to capture any pieces on f3, whereas f6 is still totally under control of silver as well. From a trap control standpoint, on the upside there, f3 is being contested and f6 is not.
Yes, indeed. So I guess silver would need his 2 horses on e3 and f3 to hold on. On e3 and. Oh, okay, that's even much simpler. Yeah, so silver will just pull the camel to f5 on next move with the elephant on f4, and that will capture force a camel capture on f6. Oh, nice move by 99 of 9 here. Oh, yeah, I was maybe too quick. I maybe say nice move too quickly. Because indeed now Silver's horse is frozen on G4. Oh yeah, Silver can just push the camel to G6.
Yeah, Silver just pushes the camel to G6 and pushes their horse back down to G3.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that looks good. So Gold can still defend by moving his elephant to F5 and his two dogs on F4 and E3. But probably these dogs can be dealt with. Probably Silver can pull a dog. I'm not sure. Can try to use a pull and occupy maneuver to move one of his own pieces, maybe his dog to F4. I'm not sure whether that works. Yeah, I think that works. Just pulling the F4 dog to G4 and moving his own dog to F4 next. So it looks like Silver will be able to threaten capture on F3 and on F6. Oh, in the chat room, players offer to rather push the rabbit on to F3 rather to G3 rather than to G3 on 29S. Indeed, that would have helped. Probably that would have been easier for Silver to capture control over F3 on next move. But here, I think it does work just pull the F4 dog to G4 and move the E4 dog to F4, and I think Silver would be in control now.
Yeah, with the camel being hostage now and the horse being stuck on F3, Gold is quickly running out of strong pieces to help out.
Yes, I think that was a major mistake to move the horse to F2 and letting it be pushed to F1 some moves ago, rather than moving the horse up to E3. And indeed, fighting without the horse is very, very complicated for Gold, and Silver probably has a one game right now. Okay, so 99 of 9 missed this forced capture, I think. So he's trying to attack with both horses and the camel around F3. Well, Gold can try to attack around C6. I don't think it will work. I don't think that will work.
I'm trying to look for some way if, with both horses and the camel committed now, they're down to F3. If there's any way for Gold to get a dog around the F6 trap, but I don't see a quick enough way. If that dog hadn't been backed up, if the silver dog didn't occupy E5, Gold could have brought that dog all the way up into the F6 trap to help out the camel. So that one step of the silver dog going to F or to E5, I think, was pretty important. So at this point now, for the F3 trap, Silver is very much under control. Gold either needs to abandon the camel or will be losing pieces every turn on F3.
Yeah, so maybe framing the horse on f3 was better than pulling the horse to e2 on 31s, but anyway, silver is completely winning now. I'm not sure what the gold can do. Maybe just try to scatter pieces away from f3. I think that would lose the dog anyway. And try to attack around c6 with a horse and a rabbit and something, and try to get an attack going. But silver would probably get a quick goal attack around the f3 quadrant.
Silver's been very methodical about bringing a lot of pieces over to the east side of the board. The c6 trap is defended by a dog and a rabbit, and then that dog is the only piece on that whole side of the board for silver. But just the amount of time it would take to bring any pieces forward, I don't see that the counterattack would work. Using up almost all the reserves so far on this move, trying to look for a way out. So for 32G, Gold Elephant steps away from the f6 trap, definitely looking to get something done. And a very quick response by 99 of 9 on 32S. We have the first capture. Our dog is pulled through the trap, and Silver's immediately threatening to pull the other dog right back to the f3 trap as well. It's also false protection around the f6 trap, even better. Silver can just pull the dog away and push the camel in. So Gold has to watch out for that as well. I would guess that the gem might take this opportunity to step that dog all the way across the track to the f7 spot, but even then that doesn't leave any defenders around f3.
Yeah, I think that's indeed what the J plan, trying to move the horse to f7, and then I guess maybe pushing the camel to g7 and moving the rabbit to g4 to create a goal threat would be a good idea for Silver. Gold could try to scatter his pieces around f6, but Silver would have a very, very strong goal attack on the east.
So Gold does not step through the trap, but instead is using the elephant to start fighting at f3. And one more step laboriously trying to bring that horse that had been buried on f1 back up to help out as well.
Probably just restaging the camel now, and maybe moving the horses to F3 and G3, or just restaging the camel is pretty strong for silver.
So yes, the gold camel's now in a more standard hostage position, and the gold dog was penned in, so there's no way for gold to protect both F3 and F6 on this move.
No, I don't think there is indeed. Gold can try to hostage something, but gold can try to hostage something, yeah. Silver will get a dog capture now, but gold can hostage the G3 horse onto G2 on next move. And I guess that would be kind of complicated, but probably silver might have to release the camel hostage at some point. I'm not sure. Well, maybe not just replacing the horse with the G5 rabbit. Well, that's complicated. I don't know. That's kind of complicated.
Yeah, if the jack takes that silver horse hostage on G2, 999 could use 2 steps to advance the rabbit and 2 steps to bring the camel next to the trap. And there's no pieces able to come protected, so there's no reason not to take half of the steps required to capture it.
Well, yeah, but pulling... Yeah, well, okay. So anyway, gold is down 2 dogs now. Maybe he can get something for his camel, but it's going to be tough. He's going to have to fight for it. Yeah, the game is already over now.
Yep, so gold does go ahead and capture or hostage that horse, so the elephant's holding 2 hostages. But yeah, that's certainly not worth anywhere near the gold hostage, along with the 2 dogs being lost. Without any traps to capture pieces in this, no races going on that gold has a chance to go after. So 999 does take half their move to put a second piece next to the F3 trap again, and the other half towards bringing the camel 2 steps away from being captured.
So I guess now gold has to unfreeze his horse, his E3 horse, and push into G3. The bad thing is that he's got to use his cat to do that, and silver can just occupy E3 with the dog, or occupy E3 with horse and move his dog to F4. But either way, I think silver can keep control over F3.
I wonder if instead of taking that horse hostage, if gold could have tried a last-ditch effort to send both horses to the G6 trap.
Yes, attacking around C6 was the only counterplay gold had. I think he should have tried it. and attack with a horse and a rabbit and maybe something else, maybe another horse or a cat or something, but that would have been a desperate attack. I don't think it would have worked, but that was probably Gaule's only kind of hope.
Yeah, but definitely seems that Gaule doesn't have any hope of successfully defending both F3 and F6, so you might as well try something else. And we have the camel being taken on 36S, and the rabbit that had been advanced to help protect the F3 trap is, you know, very much I don't know if it's a goal threat, just with the elephant being right there. I don't know if Silver's going to need to attack the D3 trap as well, or if they're going to be able to push past the elephant. But being ahead by 3 pieces at this point, I think Silver has a lot of ways to proceed.
Yes, indeed. So maybe attacking around C3 while defending the S3 trap with his elephants, and attacking around C3 with a horse and a dog, for instance. That might be an idea for Silver.
So I guess Gold threatening to push the camel over to the C3 trap, but it looks like he's just trying to come up with something to go after.
So, okay, I was going to say probably moving the horse to D3 was the right move for Silver. He moved the horse to C4 instead. I don't know, D3 looked better to block Gaule's horse on E3 and prevent Gaule from getting a strong piece on the west. I think then the attack with the camel, the D3 horse, and one dog on C4 would have been very, very strong. Oh no, that would not have worked. I'm sorry. Okay, so he had to play that, and I guess Silver can protect C3 with a dog and a horse next.
So Gold pushing the rabbit back out to slow down that Goal attack just a bit.
Yeah, the problem is that now Gaule has no horse, no strong piece on the west, so it will be easy for Silver to get a grip over C3 with just a horse and dogs and the camel. I think Silver is pretty happy to see both Gaule's horses on the east, where his elephant is fighting anyway, and now he can just advance dogs around C3. In the chat room, AAA is saying that if 99 of 9 ends up winning this game, which is quite likely, then the top 4 will be the same that last year. I hope the final positions will be the same as last year as well. Does not look that way, but
yes, I haven't been able to keep track of how the seeding and placements go on, but definitely after all the talk for the open part of the tournament, with all the new players having a threat, the top players have held on and are staying at the top here. Gold again faced with trying to decide between what trap to defend. Now it's both on his own turf, C2 and F3.
and now on 40F, Silver can just frame the cat onto C3, and that looks crushing.
Definitely being very patient, not really trying to force any rabbits in yet, just going ahead and continuing to build up a lead on the pieces. Gold with a line of rabbits going up the H file. I don't know if there's any way to push that F4 rabbit back along with running all those rabbits up the line, if there's any chance to try to go across there, but
yeah, it does not sound too likely. I guess the only way for Gold to defend F3 is to move his horse to F4 right now and move a rabbit to G3, but his horse will be captured on F6 very, very quickly. Yeah, the attack has no chance of working either.
So Gold does save the horse for one more turn, but the rabbit will be captured and we'll continue from there. His we can take a minute here and thank the sponsors of the tournament, Z-Man Games, that is producing the Arimaa board game, as well as donating to the prize fund, and Board Games for Us also contributing to the prize fund. We thank both companies for supporting the tournament.
I had a look at 99 of 9 game record just before the game. Apparently he doesn't have played a single game besides his World Championship games this year since last year's World Championship, so he has been just a little short of 1 year without any training, without any practice. Anyway, he's still in the tournament and still playing quite well, and he's still got a chance at the title. So it's very impressive to be able to play like this and go that far without any practice at all. I think that's pretty well done from him.
Maybe he has a club there in town that he's playing with, or if he will do something else to keep in practice. But definitely his online presence has been noted as being absent, and I think there's 2 players in the tournament this year coming back from some long breaks, and both doing relatively well. Definitely taking a lot of time on this move, even though he's pretty far ahead, because trying to decide if he wants to continue to press on for the goal or if he needs to fall back to protect against the goal attack, I guess. If he does decide to take most of that move to shore up the defense before going the rest of the way in for the goal.
Well, I don't think he had to defend at all. But the question is how to break through in the east, and I'm not sure that stepping aside with the rabbit from f4 to g4 was a good idea. I think it would be easier to go on f1 rather than going on g1. It's not easy to find a forced goal pattern. I guess trying to move the horse to g1 and the elephant to f2 to cut off gold species from the east would be one idea. While trying to capture things on f3 and maybe necessary to break through.
So 999 decided to give up on the rabbit at g3 instead of advancing over on the a file.
Yep, that's pretty well done. He's threatening gold in 1, so I think... okay, gold could also have just abandoned his cap and moved his elephants to c2. I think that would have held for longer. I guess now silver has a forced goal on next move. Just moving maybe the elephant to c2 would have just kept the the defense for a few more moves. Aha, no forced goal, I'm wrong. So I don't think that's a forced goal either. I think that pulling the rabbits to C2 is the camel, and moving the rabbits to B2 and moving the elephants to E2 would have forced a goal on next move, since gold could not have reached the D1 square in one move. Now gold can defend for one more move, probably. And probably a forced goal by pushing into F1 and moving the rabbit to F2 with the elephant on F3 to prevent the rabbit from being pushed back. Sorry. And the forced goal.
I guess I don't see a way to stop both rabbits at the same time.
Oh, I think there are probably two ways to stop goal. I think pulling the F2 rabbits to G2 and freezing the E2 rabbits to F2 would prevent goal in one. And yeah, like that, for instance. Okay, so 99 of 9 has been missing lots of forced goal. Will he be able to force goal on next move? So this is still not a forced goal, I guess. Oh yeah, maybe so. Yeah, looks like a forced goal this time.
Well, congratulations to 99 of 9 for prevailing in this one. It was definitely a seesaw battle at the beginning there, but then after that the camels were isolated with 99 of 9 having support for his camel and the Jah not having any support for theirs. After that it was all downhill for the Jah, and the 99 of 9 didn't make any drastic mistakes to upset the balance of power. As we were saying, there's a couple spots where possibly could have forced goal a few turns sooner, but without any gold counter threats, he had the time to spare. I know 99 and 9 said he was going to not going to have time afterwards to do any kind of an interview. I don't know if the Joe was interested in talking or not. looks like the Joe was able to join us. Don't know if you have any immediate thoughts on how the game went. No, it's tough to actually just lose to talk about the game much, but glad you're able to join us.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like he was looking through my head, actually.
Yeah, as we were watching the game, it appeared that all the jockeying for position at the middle, there's around the F3 trap, alternating between allowing 99 to have an extra horse there and sometimes didn't. And then in the end, that extra horse definitely allowed him to keep his camel safe while yours was threatened. And once you were in that position, we were having a hard time finding a way out for you.
Yeah, I thought maybe when I had the camel hostage over there it would lead to an advantage, but it kind of turned into my downfall as I felt like I had to go out and save the dog, I guess. I'm not sure. Probably mishandled that on the other side, which led to the camel being able to come out and just go past and attack me, I guess.
When things were starting to look tough for you around F3 and F6, we were looking at how empty the C6 trap was. We were wondering if you ever considered a counterattack there and abandoning either the camel or the F3 trap and going for a push in that direction.
Yeah, do you have maybe a move number around which you thought that would be good?
I can go and look, but I definitely was looking at it 2 or 3 different times. Whenever his horse was sitting at B4 above yours for much of the time, but whenever it left, we were wondering, okay, are you going to jump out to B6 and try to make it better?
I think I did, but it seems like I just had too many obligations on the other side, so I never got around to that. But maybe if I had chose an opportune one to ignore, things would be a little different, but I think he was still ahead at any time that I could have gone after C6.
Yeah, definitely we agreed it would have been partly in desperation that you would definitely be giving up something on the east side of the board if you made the move. We're trying to figure out any way out for you. 99 definitely did a good job of not leaving anything for you to threaten and didn't leave many openings for you to do anything.
Yes. I tried to save the camel, but maybe that I would have still been down material, but perhaps I could have traded the horse. I kind of in the back of my mind, I doubt it, but some of those lines are in the back of my mind, and unfortunately I just couldn't sort everything out beforehand.
Do any of our listeners have any questions that they wanted to pose?
Thanks for putting up a good defense there, John, all the way to the end now. I think if you hadn't got that camel in trouble, before that you were holding up really well, and things kind of seemed to fall apart after that. But good job with defending really well, and best of luck next year, hopefully.
I saw the move about pulling the camel out to D4, but I underestimated it, and that's probably what my whole downfall became. And I want to thank you, Omar, because I was on the fence about playing this year, and you're just asking me if I was going to play, kind of convincing maybe I should, and really grateful that I did.
Well, I'm really glad that you played. Also, you've been improving quite a bit, and being a young player, I think you have a lot of potential. So, I'm glad to see that you played, and I think you have a long way to go still in Arimaa. So, I mean, you've got a lot of potential, and you're doing really well. So, thanks a lot for playing.
Yeah, this is Ron Weasley here. You are officially added to the list of players that I'm very afraid of playing.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, Tux and Jay have both, sort of surpassed myself and Naveed also, and every year we keep getting shut out, and the young players are moving ahead. So it's
well, Ron, you're the strongest player who ever plays in this tournament, so I think that needs to change sometime.
Well, if I played this tournament, I think you'd find out otherwise.
Well, it seems like you're always way up there in the upper echelon, so I disagree.
We definitely want to find out, Ron. Yeah, I think what you'll find out is that I really can't make decisions in the time limit that you guys are able to do it in. So that's another thing that makes me afraid of just about everybody out here. Well, next year I'll take next year off to be the TD just so you can play, because I want to see how it goes. I think everybody would laugh. So, Omar, when's the Computer Championship kickoff meeting?
Right. So was going to announce that a little bit today. First wanted to just thank everybody for joining today and watching the games, and hopefully everybody had a good time. And as most of you know, the Computer Championship is going to be starting tomorrow. I've got the first round set up already and scheduled. Hopefully I didn't mess anything up with the schedule, with the pairing or scheduling or anything. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all the bot developers who are participating in this year's event. I just wanted to wish them the best of luck in the upcoming computer tournament. And I know they've put in a lot of effort and hard work into the bot. So, to something that I really appreciate. Also, I wanted to thank everyone who's been involved in helping out in this year's events. Definitely want to thank everybody who's been helping with the live commentary, and also everybody who's been helping with the event reports in the wiki. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, and also I want to thank everyone who's contributed to the Arimaa Prize Fund to reward the players and the developers. It's really great for when people actually help out that way. So these events, I think, are getting to the point now where I definitely would not be able to run them without the help that I'm getting from the community. So just want to say thanks to everyone. And now I'm going to maybe turn it over to Ned, and he can maybe tell you a little bit more about how the Computer Championship works, and then how the challenge match works afterwards, and who's going to be involved. Ned?
Well, thanks, Omar. Actually, if you want a description of how the Computer Championship works, I actually haven't reviewed the schedule on that. So if I said much about that, I would be saying some bad things. So why don't you cover that, Omar?
Yeah, no problem, man. Basically, it's going to be a floating triple elimination tournament. I don't know if all the people, or especially the newer people, know, but that's sort of a format that Carl came up with, wow, I don't know how many years ago it's been now. Carl might remember when it was, but we've been using that for quite a bit now, and it's worked out really well. So what happens is each participant continues to play until they've lost 3 games, and so it's in a way it's a bit like a knockout tournament, except you have to lose 3 times to be knocked out. So that format's worked pretty well, and so the top 2 bots that win in the computer championship will then go on to play in what we refer to as sort of the screening period, and that's a time where these 2 bots will be made available online for anyone who wants to play against them. And during that time, we encourage everybody in the community to try to play against these bots and see if you're able to defeat them. And this the bot which does better will then go on to play in the Arimaa challenge match. So I'll turn it over to Ned again, and then he can tell you who's going to be involved there.
Okay. Thanks, Omar. And as tournament director, I guess this is kind of an honor for me to make this announcement, because the way the challenge match works is that this is mostly Omar's money. So the computer challenger that gets selected gets to go against 3 Muggle or human players that Omar chooses to defend against the stake that he's put up. And I guess there are other people that have put up the stake as well. Omar has now selected the 3 defenders, and it's a real good honor for me to announce who they are. So one of the defenders that he has selected is the very famous Greg Mang, who you know as Adenak. Adenak's been around here for many years. He was a top player pretty much after the first year that he started playing. He's defended in 2 of the challenge matches, and as you can see, he's still alive in the finals. So he, I think, is an excellent choice, and is going to be very hard for the computers to beat. Second player I'm going to announce is a relatively new player. I think he's been around for about 2 years, and this would be Daniel Scott, who we all know as Tux. Tux has made it to what I call the quarterfinals. He was still in this round. Tux has established himself as a top player in several respects. One of the most impressive achievements that I think he's made is that I think he's been able to beat both Fritz Lang and Chesenga at some point in his career, which is something that not a lot of us have ever done. Finally, the third defender is to be Patrick Dudek, who we know as Arimaa Buff. And Arimaa Buff has been around for a long time, but we haven't seen him in the World Championship tournaments because Patrick is a bot-bashing specialist. And I think this is the first time that Omar has selected a bot-bashing specialist to do the defense. If you go and look at the record games for who has defeated which bots in which way in the fewest moves, you're going to find that Patrick has the record for many of these. He has spent a lot of effort finding the patterns that expose the weaknesses for bots. So the bots should be especially afraid at this point that Patrick is going to be one of the defenders. And of course, the way this defense works is that there are 3 separate matches. The bot will play 3 game matches against each of the defenders. In order to win the challenge, the bot needs to defeat each of the defenders at least 2 to 1. I think if I look at the current strength of the bots, and my first comment is that it looks like the bots are stronger than ever. I think this year's bots are stronger than last year's bots were. But with this year's bots, even though they're that much stronger, I still think that the bot that wins is going to be the underdog. I think our human players are still quite a bit better. But we must play the games to determine who is the winner, because other things may happen. So I want to congratulate the 3 defenders for this honor. And I wish them the best of luck. I think most of us are going to root for the humans, but I think some of us are going to root for the bots. So I want to say congratulations and good luck, Omar, this year.
Thank you, and good luck to all the bot developers. And we'll see how Arimaa stands up for one more year against the bots in the challenge this year. So I'm going to take it off the air here now. Thanks everybody for coming and joining today.